Do you have salt bag?
No.
You have a salty bag.
I probably do have a salty bag, but it's winter. And no, I don't have it. Fucking winter's over. It's springtime now.
Well, tell that to me yesterday. It's Canada. That shit changes in half a day. So here's the plan.
Why do you get such a big jug of water, Ryan?
Yes, unscripted, Randy. Fucking, so here's the plan. I'm water loading this week. Next few videos, you're gonna see me chugging this shit. And every now and then, I'm gonna have to go and drain my fat ass dick. My big ass dick. Every now and then, my fucking hog.
We're supposed to keep this show true and honest, right?
That's right. That's why I'm just being honest.
Okay.
I got you. You know how it is.
Fair enough.
Right? I gotta drain my big ass dick every now and then. So maybe I bounce. If I bounce, that's why. Maybe you swing around. Sit in Daddy's chair for a little while. You like that?
I don't think so.
Would you like to sit in Daddy's chair for a
I
while?
don't think that's ever going to be
Don't
called
get
Daddy's
comfortable.
chair.
Don't get comfortable with it though. That's some good vodka. What did I say?
Could you imagine?
Whoops. Yes, I browsed a bit. She's seen the show. She goes, I don't watch that shit. You kidding me? I got better ways to waste my time. Rather watch the fucking wall for 2 hours.
Okay, she's got a good connection.
You look like you got a really good connection though. You
Good.
You also look like you keep a very tidy room too. I like that.
You see all the books I have?
That's
So
right.
many books.
You're just starting to put some books on those shelves.
You know?
That's right. That's nice. And also,
Funny.
I'm water loading. So every now and then, because I got a competition, yeah, it's a pleasure.
That sucks.
So every now and then, Randy might swing around, take up. So you might sit in the master chair, and we'll take it from there. So
Okay.
I guess we could just start from the top. Maybe introduce yourself and tell all the viewers who don't know. I mean, we post the shit out of you, so most people probably already know who you are. But you've broken some records.
One.
What? Wow, hey, man,
Well,
how many does it take? That's big.
I mean,
It's the
you know,
squat record, right?
like right now I have the only like record that I think is big is my squat record. It's an American record, unofficial world record, but just because I haven't gone to nationals in like 2 years or haven't competed in an expo in a while, well, just because I have been taking it off. I took off a year because of my back,
Okay.
so because I have problems with my back. So, but it's good to, the training that I'm doing now, I mean, everything's going well. Like on my training cycle basically is going well.
So this record that you broke, so what was the squat in what weight class? How heavy?
It was a 410 squat in the 132-pound weight class.
Ooh, Lord. That's a nice squat. That'll do it. So that was the American record in unofficial world?
Yes,
Nice.
at
and
this
good.
time.
At this time? You looking
Yeah.
to push that? Because we're watching. I mean, your squat is flying. You're dead to flying too. Actually, all your numbers are flying. Is this the best training cycle you've had?
Yes, the training cycle that I'm doing now, basically everything I do is a PR from here on out. Like from sets to reps, it's all PR.
And what are you peaking for? Which competition?
Well, actually, I was supposed to do the Texas State meet April 8th, which is in 4 weeks, but I kind of changed my mind, and I'm actually going to go ahead and do May 14th, which is the Gulf Coast Open or Gulf Coast Classic. It's going to be in Houston. Just pushing it back just a little bit, and then from there I get a week of deload, and then I'm going to start my training again for nationals. It'll give me a perfect 6 weeks to train for nationals. So
is that is that how much space usually you give yourself? That seems like a hectic schedule.
Yeah, it's my training cycle is a 6 weeks training cycle. You could run it twice. I don't prefer to run it more than twice just because it is kind of intense. but yeah, it's because like every week you're ramping up, the weight's ramping up and stuff, and you only get 1 week of a small back down and stuff, and then right again, still going up, starting back at 87, and a half percent. So.
Do you do percentage as opposed to RPE then?
Yes, I do. I like percentage. I do percentage for like, linear periodization,
Yeah.
That's what I do, based off predicted 1 rep max. I usually start at 80% and then I ramp up, from there.
So you do it on, did you say predicted 1 rep max?
Predicted, like a reasonable predicted 1 rep max.
Yeah.
You gotta be reasonable with it. So like I do, like some people, I do sell my program to whoever wants to, try it out. And it's a peaking program. For people that have never, done it before, I'd rather them, the first training cycle, use their actual, 1 rep maxes, current 1 rep maxes. And then for the next cycle, then go off of like 10 pounds more or 20 pounds more, something that they would like to hit for their third attempt at, at the meet.
And let people know real quick, if they do want to get in touch to get these programs, where would they go?
They could email me at Nikki, Nikki, at NikkiGunz.com.
Guns with a Z?
With a Z.
That is a sick nickname too.
It's because my last name is Gonzalez, and it's Gonzalez with a Z, not an S.
That's right.
So it just Guns with a Z.
I love that nickname. We do so many cheesy puns. We're like, Nikki fires off, 5 reps, blah, blah, blah. Like, we are so cheesy, man. You give us, you open that door, we're going to walk through it every time. We love it. So if we back it up a sec, let's go back to how you first got involved with A, weightlifting, and then B, powerlifting in general. And here's one other thing I didn't realize until, because we're following you on Instagram, you were a fly girl at one point.
I used to dance for Bud Light.
What's that, sorry?
I used to dance for Bud Light.
And who's with Bud Light, like the beer?
But yeah, the beer. When I was in Houston, when I lived in Houston.
No shit.
That's when I was like 21 years old. That was like, a long time
2
ago.
years ago? 3 years ago?
No. I wish. No, it's been, 13 years?
And were you a backup dancer, though, for a rapper, too? That's what I saw. No shit.
Chingo Bling.
Whoa, shout out to Chingo Bling if you're watching. That's like,
oh my gosh.
Everyone starts somewhere. I thought that was a unique background, like Jennifer Lopez or something. You know what I mean?
No, it's not that. It's not that glamorous.
Where she was a fly girl.
Living Color.
Yeah, Living Color. That's right. She was a fly girl in Living Color.
Yeah.
And then, so were you weightlifting? Like, have you been weightlifting since even back in the day? Always into it, or?
No, I mean, when I was in high school, I was like, I was in track and field in high school, and I was also, I guess, a high flyer, like one of those dancers.
Yeah.
My senior year, but we probably went to the weight room, a handful of times, when I was in track and field. I was also in shot put and discus when I was in high school.
No shit, and you didn't lift weights for those?
Just like I said, like a handful of times, So, but after high school, I started. I went to college and I was dancing in college and stuff. But I never did any kind of like weight training until I was about 26. That's when I met my current boyfriend right now. Mm-hmm. So, but I was just more like just cardio, just running, going to the gym, just getting on the treadmill, running for like 4 miles, and then maybe just doing like some dumbbells and like, because I didn't know how to lift. I didn't know how to work the weights or how things went, and.
But you were athletic though. You had this athletic background. You just didn't yet project it into weightlifting. Yeah,
and my boyfriend was the one that asked me, because he had a weight room in his garage when I met him and stuff, and he was the one that actually asked me, do you want to go ahead and train with me? You kind of want to lift with me? And I was like, okay.
Were you guys already dated, or was that his pickup line?
Yeah, no.
You want to come in my garage and lift weights? You're like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
No, we were already dating and stuff. Yeah. So, but it's like we didn't live together or anything like that. So I would see him maybe like, 2 or 3 times out of the week and stuff. So, but he would train with his like friends and stuff like that in his house. But he just asked me if I wanted to, and I said yeah. So, and it went from there. And I didn't start. That was like back when I was like 26, and I didn't start powerlifting till I was about 30. So
no shit.
yeah.
And so does he powerlift or?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't compete. He does the training cycles that I do and stuff, but because we kind of programmed them ourselves, you know, kind of like a trial and error kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whatever worked for us, and it's worked. We finally like perfected what worked for us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he coaches me, you know. He's the one in the back, you know, screaming like right here, you know.
Yeah,
and
we
that's
see
what
it.
I like. I mean, that's what I like, you know. Some people, they need that, you know. Some people like the trap slaps and the face, you know, slaps, and I don't like all that stuff.
That's a little aggressive.
That's a little more aggressive for me, you know. I'm more like get in my mindset, kind of like I like to meditate and I like to breathe, but I do like the, you know, the encouragement and behind me, you know what I mean? And it's just like the certain kind of cues that, you know, that kind of turns everything on. Okay, yes, I need to do that, you know, just like a reminder kind of thing. But yelling in your ear, yeah.
So how did the transition come? Because it's interesting that like you found powerlifting. Did you just find this on your own? Like how did you get into powerlifting?
No idea about powerlifting. I mean, we trained at a Gold's, you know, for a while and stuff, and one of the guys that was there lifting next to us, I mean, he was competing for a powerlifting meet, and he was telling me, he was like, hey, you should totally do a powerlifting meet. And I was like, well, what's that? Like, I had no idea. And he's like, you're so freaking strong, and, you know, you should totally do it. So, I mean, the powerlifting meet wasn't until about 3 months later. So we did our research. We were like, okay, so, I mean, this is what we need to do. There's a squat, a bench, a deadlift, you know, there's 3 attempts, you know. So we were very just new to it. We had no idea that there was like meets like that. I mean, we knew there was like strongman stuff, but we didn't know that there was powerlifting, because you always saw strongman on like TV, you know, back in the day. You don't see it now, but yeah. But they didn't have like powerlifting, you know.
Yeah. Does your boyfriend handle you at your meets too?
Yes, he does.
So when you guys got involved, did you know other people that were friends or anything that powerlifted? Like, did you have like someone that you looked up to? You just said, you know what? Let's see what happens. Walked in there. What happened when you did your first meet?
Oh, my first meet was awesome. Like, I mean, of course I didn't know anybody there.
Yeah.
I mean, my first meet, I mean, I always had a good squat, you know. I mean, before powerlifting, I was already squatting like, you know, 245 for reps. We just like, you know, I ended up with a 297 pound squat for my third attempt in the 132 weight class.
Your first meet?
For my first meet, I didn't have any sleeves because I didn't know what those were, like sleeves. And I was like, what's that? I was like, we could wear that? I was like, okay, so I'm going to go buy me some Ray-Bans right after that. So, I think my first meet, I squatted 297, I benched 148, and I deadlifted like 319 and stuff.
So then everybody's like, yo, you might want to come back. You might want to keep this moving.
Well, I was like, I won my, you know, first place, and then I won a best lifter award, and I was like, oh, I won the whole thing? Cool. For my first time. And then that was in USPA, and then my second meet was USAPL, and it was at a high school. There was a lot more, there was like more kids there. But my numbers were a little bit lower just because it was a 2-hour weigh-in. And I didn't feel as strong, you know, that day, you know, and I weighed in like at 128 pounds at that meet. So I was like really small.
Yeah. Do you water cut? Do you water cut for your meets?
I do now. Yeah. I mean, because throughout the years, you know, I just put on so much freaking muscle, you know, and shit, like.
Funny how that works, right?
I know. It's like I used to walk around like just 135, like nothing, you know. And then now it's like my body wants to be at 150. So I walk around 150. Right now I'm at 143.
Okay.
But it's like it's getting really, really hard because I usually water cut from like 139. And then I water cut to 132.
Okay.
But I give myself at least like 3 to 4 months or maybe 5 months to like actually diet down, do it right, and not wait like 4 weeks or 3 weeks to cut my weight from 150 to 132.
Yeah,
Because
see,
that's just insane.
It's interesting because so do you count macros and calories to do that?
I don't. Yes, my boyfriend is the one that actually does my diet and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So like on my training days, I eat more carbs. Like I do carb cycling
Okay.
right now. So he has me on a plan on how many calories I should intake, on my training days and then my non-training days. But my training days, I consume all my carbs around my workouts. My non-training days, the carbs that I usually consume are my veggies. So and that's what I've been doing right now to actually cut. And of course, I'm doing a shit ton of cardio and stuff like that because that's a must. People that don't want to do cardio, you have to do cardio if you're going to want to cut weight. You know what I mean? Like, it just helps.
It's the ugly truth of it. I mean, a lot of people, like you were saying, you see some people being like, last 3 weeks, time to trim up the diet and cut. Like, you want to go into the meat cutting? Get that shit done before.
You want to train, you kind of want to train where you want to kind of get back up to, the weight the next day. So if I were to cut from 140 down to 132, and if it's a 24-hour weigh-in, the next day you want to be at 140 plus on the platform. That's the goal, Some people, they're like, oh, I'm so skinny, I look good, I don't want to get up to 140 or I don't want to, I want to stay here,
Yeah.
But, it's just one of those body image issues. But, the goal is to be your heaviest on the platform. So the last meet that I did last year was the Texas State meet. I came in at 132. The next morning, I was at 145 on the platform.
Ooh, wow.
So
how do you do your water loading and unloading then? If you would like give us, do you mind if we ask you these secrets or what do you think?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
So what you want to do is, of course, get a lot of people. When they weigh in, what do? They want to pound the pancakes. They want to pound all this stuff right off the bat. But what you really lost is water. So you want all the water back in your system first before you kind of start eating. So I try to pound a gallon of water before I start to eat. Okay, I put in some EFS, which is kind of like your Pedialyte or Gatorade powder. I put some EFS in my water. I put some creatine, glutamine. I put a little bit of glycerol in there and stuff. I take some, some chromium pills, some stuff that you do want to make sure that the water stays in you and it doesn't seep back right out,
Is this like electrolytes?
Yes. Yes, yeah. The EFS is electrolytes.
Okay.
And then like when I start eating, I start buying like watermelon and melon because you want to salt the crap out of everything. You want all the salt. You want to eat all the carby food. You want to eat all the salty food and stuff. Not too much fats or anything like that because that's not going to matter. So that's another thing. A lot of people pound the pizza and stuff like that, and you just you don't want to do that. You don't want to upset your stomach. So if you have already been dieting, you kind of want to stick to your diet throughout, for the meet, and then after the meet, then splurge.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people end up getting the runs, or they just feel bad the next day because they just pounded all this nasty food.
Yeah.
After weigh-ins, and you just don't want to do that because your body, if you are dieting, you don't want to eat all that shitty food. You kind of want to keep your food intake clean, throughout the meet. So.
And in terms of your training cycles leading up to, how often? Because we don't normally see you do a lot of heavy singles too often. Do you do heavy singles? Not really heavy singles, eh? You do a lot of volume work.
I do volume work. Not really. Not during my training cycle. I guess on lighter days. Like I do some volume work maybe on my deadlift days because my deadlifts are like 1 week I go heavy, the next week is light. Okay. So on my lighter days I do more volume. Like I did conventional like the other day, the 3 sets of 8, conventional lighter days. And I don't pull conventional for my meets, I pull sumo. Yeah. So then again, I'm also working whatever my weaknesses are, right? So, but I don't do a lot of heavy singles, only on my off training, my off season. I do more volume work just to build, endurance, conditioning, muscle. But other than that, no, I kind of just stick to my program You know, a lot of them are like either no more than 5 reps.
That's
You
your
know,
sweet spot.
um,
Okay, yeah. So
yeah.
are you like why is that you don't do? Because a lot of people doing singles. At least that's what we see on Instagram. Do you
Well,
think
the
it just
singles,
takes a little too much out of you, or
I mean, when you do singles, that means you're going heavy, right?
yeah?
So, I mean, you don't want to go heavy all the time, you know. Like I said, like my training program is more linear, you know, so it's
Hmm.
based off percentages. So, like on the last week of my training cycle, it's heavy. Now, I don't do singles. I do maybe like a double,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like to get ready for the meet, right? So my squat, I'll end up with a double. But with my squat, I kind of want to make sure, because since that's like my baby, you know, like I love squats, and I
Yeah.
want to make sure that I get my number that I'm going off of. I do PR on my squat 2 weeks prior to my meet, because you know I have the last week of my training cycle, and then I have meet week, so that's
Hmm.
2 weeks, right?
Hmm.
So the last week of my training cycle, I'll do a 1 rep max on my squat. If I hit my number that I've been going off of, then I know in my mind that at the meet I could go for that third attempt, even though I still need to drop weight. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
in my mind I was like, okay, I know I could hit that number. I'm going to hit my number now. You know, so it gives me like a confident boost. You know,
And then 2 weeks
um,
out, you pull it back. Then
how?
2 weeks out, then after you hit that, you pull back your training leading into the meet. The last two
Yeah.
weeks.
So that's it. Yeah. So the week meet week, you know, you're supposed to like not do anything, kind of deload, rest, you know. I don't do anything after Wednesday. Like before Wednesday, I probably do like 50% of, you know, all my lifts, you know, like 5 sets of 5 at 50%,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
or lower, you know, because I don't want to, because you kind of want to, you know, make sure all the, you know, you're not so, you want to rest, you want to recover,
Yeah.
right? To get ready for your meet and stuff, so you can feel nice and fresh for the meet and stuff. But like I don't, and then like for a bench, you know, the last week I do my 3 rep max pause, a 3 rep max paused, and then that's what I will open up with.
Hmm.
My deadlift, I'll do a heavy double at I think 95% or 97, not 97, like 95%, and then I'll do that as an opener or a second
So
attempt.
that's how you'll pick. Yeah, that's how you pick
That's
your
how I pick my
attempts.
numbers.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Do you do any partials like block pulls or partials with squats even?
With squats, I do a lot of like Andersons, like
That's right.
dead
Yeah, yeah,
squats, and I
yeah,
start from the bottom up. A lot of people end up, you know, unracking it, stepping
yeah,
out, and then coming down, stopping, and then go. No, I like to start from the bottom because it just makes it harder. And I do with the SSB bar, which is even harder. You know, because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you have to really drive up and keep that chest up, and you know, it's just a lot harder. And I like to make things harder. You know, you just
That's right.
have to. You
Yeah,
can't. You know, it can't be easy. You
that's
know.
right. How
So
low do you start when you do your Andersons?
whatever your sticking point is. A lot of raw squatters are, you know, their sticking point is in the bottom of the hole.
Yeah,
So I like to start at the bottom of the hole. A lot of people, they end up stalling halfway, and then their knees take over and they come in, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So they just working out right there, driving out those knees the whole time at their sticking point. So basically where your sticking point is, that's where the Anderson is supposed to start. Anderson squat's supposed to start.
And what's your percentage when you do Andersons?
I start off of maybe like 85% of your 1 rep max.
Yeah, yeah,
Of your 1 rep max, if you're doing an SSB, any kind of like, you know, specialty bar, if you're going off a percentage and you kind of want to go off a 1 rep max or a predicted 1 rep max for that bar that you've squatted, not your
yeah,
actual squat, you know,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's different. It's different. So it's like my squat, like I said, is over 4 with the regular bar, but with the SSB bar, it's probably like 350 with the SSB.
Yeah, yeah. So you
Up
gotta be.
predicted.
Yeah, so you got to be accountable. What are you thinking about this U.S. Open that's coming up?
Oh
Um,
man, I wish I could go. I got invited and stuff, and but it, you know, it's only for people with wraps, and I don't squat roll wraps.
really? So that's why you
So,
said no?
yeah.
With 40K
Well,
on the
it's
table
expensive to
too?
go all the way over there too, you know.
What's that?
And you know, it's expensive to go, you know,
Yeah.
all the way to Cali and stuff like that. You know, just, you know, I mean, it'll be cool to go and you know, compete, but I mean, all the money is going to go towards, you know, the people with wraps.
Yeah, who are used to it. Is this something that, would you, if they keep running this annually, is this something that you might think about? Like $40K, that's what everyone's like, holy smokes, man. That's like changes your year. That's crazy, man. That's a mortgage on a house.
I know. I was like, man,
Just
you know,
think about it.
You do a lot of damage with that money.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, you got, yeah. Is this something you would think about in the future if they keep that money coming?
Wraps? Well, I don't know. Just because, you know, since I do have problems with my back, I kind of don't want to overload my back. I don't want to put weight on my back that's not supposed to be on there.
Yeah.
You know, just because my L4 is practically like the squishy stuff, the disc. It's a black
jelly
disc.
in that donut? Yeah.
I don't have anything in there, you know.
Really?
So, and yeah, I don't. My L4 is kind of like gone. It's a black disc, and my L3 is halfway gone. Like all the stuff has already seeped out. So I'm kind of like playing a
dicey
game here.
game. Yeah.
So, like my last training cycle that I did, I had 3 flare-ups in my my SI joint and stuff, where I didn't get a full good training cycle in. You know, like I couldn't do any kind of spinal loading. I did deficit deads, and I had a pop in my back, and I literally dropped the weight, and I could barely walk out of the gym.
Holy
So I have to be very careful. I have to train smart, and just putting wraps on my knees and stuff, and then having that overload that my body is not supposed to have.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just whatever I could step out raw, then my body is fine.
40K
But
is nice.
I
It ain't
can't
that
imagine. I was like, a lot of people, they're like, man, you could probably squat 5, you know, with wraps and stuff. Like, I was like, well, maybe, but I'm not want to risk it.
That's right.
I don't want to risk it.
You want to be able to walk around when you're 40.
Yes, I was like, I'll be like 34, you know, and
stop
I was
it.
like, and I'm already like
Now you're saying stories.
over
Stop.
here. I was like, I've only been powerlifting for 3 years, and I'm already like crippled and shit.
3 years? Holy shit, that's quick progress.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm going on 4 years, but like last year I only competed once, so I don't count that.
What were you going to say, Ray?
Oh, I was just gonna say that's an expensive wheelchair you're gonna buy for $40,000 if that back blows out. Like
No
that's,
shit.
Like I do give you credit for that. It's being smart. It's playing smart on
Like,
that.
so are you, in terms of the future, like, are you setting yourself a date where, look, I got to check out at a certain point? Like, is it an injury that you're putting an expiration date, or do you think you can keep pushing through it, or what are you thinking?
I think my body just needs resting time. So once I do this meet in May and then do nationals in July, I'll probably call it quits for a couple of months, you know, to kind of recover and stuff like that. Because I don't really do more than 3 meets or 2 meets a year anyways.
Yeah.
Because to me, it just doesn't make any sense to do 5 meets a year or 6. Like, how do you progress? Like, how do you get stronger, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I like to take time off, work on my lifts, work on, you know, what I need to work on, build more muscle, you know, just get better at technique, form, you know, just concentrate on all that and stuff, and then set a date and then get ready for that. So I think powerlifting is always going to be a part of me, you know. Like right now, like my recovery, is good. You know, what I have is irreversible. But, you know, the care of my chiropractor, I go to my chiropractor twice a week. I go every Tuesdays and Saturdays. And then I go to my massage therapist, Tammy from Kinetics Body Science. I see her once a week, and she is amazing. It's not one of those sensual massages. No, she's good.
Breaking you down.
Yeah, like she's amazing. She's different from any kind of other people I've gone to and stuff. I mean, she's from Cali. You know, she used to work on Mark Bell. She used to work on all these like professional football athletes, and that's the thing. She works solely on athletes, and she's awesome. She's pretty amazing.
It's huge. Me and Randy go to the same guy, and you know the difference between somebody like you're saying a sensual massage or something like. This dude puts you in situations where I almost like tap out. Like, okay, dude, we're good. Yeah, you found it. Like, let me know when you found it. You've been finding it, man. You've been finding it. Shit, I must have a good poker face if you didn't already know. I'm like, whew. I went with my girl one time. I was like, Jesus, is she still in the room? Because I'm tearing up here. Yeah, a good massage will get in there deep for sure.
Yeah, and yeah. So
Well,
that's been helping a lot.
what would
like,
be
the
your
recovery.
advice for anybody who's just getting into the sport? In terms of like finding a coach, and then also just some advice in terms of approaching competition. Because a lot of times mentally, how many people that are like, I'll start when I'm ready. Oh, I'm going to do a competition. I just have to be ready first, and talk themselves out of it almost.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of first timers and stuff like that. I mean, like me, when I was a first timer, what did I do? I researched everything. You kind of want to research the sport first before you get into it. I mean, if you already like lifting, squatting, benching, and deadlifting, well, shit, that's a plus already.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I say just research the sport first. Research the commands and stuff. You see a lot of, first time lifters, they always jump the commands.
Yeah,
And
give
stuff,
away PRs
like
that
almost
way.
every single one,
Yeah.
they do. So, but, they'll love it no matter what. I mean, if you don't know anybody there, make friends. Everybody is so, supportive of each other. The camaraderie, is just amazing. Everybody supports everybody, so, and not to be afraid to ask anybody questions.
Yeah.
If they have questions about anything, they should ask someone that, just not to be so closed,
Yeah.
and not to be so,
It's funny
I
you
don't know.
said listen for the commands. I remember my one buddy, I think it was like his first competition, hit a PR. Like he's like, man, I can't wait to this is my goal. Like you said, you have goals, projected goals. Hit his PR in a squat, and then you have to wait for the rack command, and so hit his PR fought oh my god, it was a fight like a Rocky fight. Okay, fighting for half a minute, and I'm like, oh my god, please get it. Locks it out, and we're like, oh, the crowd started cheering. He's like, yeah, steps forward.
And then he's just
Oh shit, man! And then it was too late. It's like, dude, you just gave it away. Oh god, it was heartbreaking.
and yeah, and then when you put all that effort into that one lift and you still got your third to go, and you're trying to go again, it's really hard to get
Oh
again.
yeah, the
Especially when
adrenaline.
you just wasted all your energy and stuff like that on that one, 1 minute, squat trying to get up there.
That's right. Oh yeah, you're taxed. How do you approach
you're taxed.
in terms of the mental aspect? How do you approach when you're in a competition? Do you deal with the opener like you deal with your third in terms of adrenaline? Can you keep it going? Because those are long days, 9 attempts. Do you pace yourself? How do you approach it mentally?
Like I said before, I do everything I like to meditate, and in my training, every time I approach the bar the same way.
Yeah.
So I don't like everything. I know what I'm gonna go for my next attempts and stuff, and in my mind, I've already hit it before. I was like, you've done this before, you've done it millions of times, and if my walkout is good, if I could actually walk it out, I could squat it.
Yeah.
That's my mentality. I'm very quiet. I don't get really angry. Some people they put all the anger.
Yeah.
I like to breathe. And I don't like to rush anything, because you do have 1 minute on the platform.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to rush, they get very antsy and stuff like that, and they just want to rush and just dive onto the platform and then just go,
Yeah.
I'm like, I like to take my time. I like to make sure my setup is good, I do smelling salts, I do, or torque, I like to torque it up,
Torque it up.
So, just to kind of wake up and stuff. But I approach the bar the same way I do in training and
Every
stuff,
single
and
time,
I
right?
try to think about it like another training day, and of course your third attempt you have to push harder than normal.
What happens if you miss your second? Does
Yeah,
that bother you? That's tough.
It will probably bother me. It will probably be more of a technical form issue, because usually, your second attempt, to some people they always want a PR on their second.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get close to what I've PR'd before. Mm-hmm. Usually, whatever I PR'd on my last meet, I like to actually open up, with that for the next meet.
Oh shit! Well, that's some nice progress.
It's been a year, so
Yeah.
it's but for this next meet, I don't know. We'll see. I need to hit my numbers, first to see what I'm gonna open with. But yeah, I'm not very aggressive. I'm not an aggressive lifter.
Mm-hmm.
I like to breathe. I like to meditate, and I like to take my time.
And that probably helps you with pacing. I think sometimes when you get overly wound up and the adrenaline is rocking at like 9 o'clock in the morning, if that thing lasts,
technique and form goes out the
and that's
the
true
window.
too. That's another thing too. Like I've noticed, I've got myself super amped up and made silly mistakes because I'm so into winding myself up. Let's go, let's hit this. And then later on too, you're exhausted because you get that adrenaline dump where you can't conjure it up anymore. And so you gotta pick. It's like that weapon in the background. Maybe if it's like come down to the last deadlift, you know what I mean. But yeah, you can't do it all day. Randy, you want to take this chair for 1 second? I'm gonna go to little boy's room.
No problem.
You guys keep moving.
Hey. So
What's up?
Not much. So you've been doing this for a while. Is there anything in the sport you'd like to see changed?
I don't know. Like, that's a good question.
And
I mean, right now, I mean, everything, I mean, because I mean, I compete in the USPA. So, I've competed in the USAPL. You know, like, there's not a lot of USAPL meets here in Texas. That's why I kind of choose USPA, you know, for meets and stuff like that. So, I don't know, maybe more USAPL meets here in Texas, you know? I don't know. I guess there's so many rules on other things too. Like I know different feds have different rules and stuff like that. I mean, some people like benching like on their toes, or, you know, there's, you know, feds that you have to bench flat feet. There's federations where there's the 2-hour weigh-in, which kind of really sucks. I like the 1 hour weigh-in. If every fed could do 1 hour, I mean the 24-hour weigh-in, that'd be badass. But
yeah, it's a lot more. You can exchange a lot more weight with that one. You definitely feel a lot better.
Yeah.
So what would you say is probably the craziest thing you've seen at a meet so far?
Craziest meet. Well, the last crazy thing I saw was probably like a live stream. When Brandon Lilly, you know, had that big fall with the squats and stuff, and all you heard was like, pop, you know, that pop and stuff in his knees, and he just like fell back. I mean, that was crazy stuff. And then I think who was it? T. Cummings with his ankle. Yeah, that one was crazy at Boss of Bosses. The live stream that I saw, that was pretty crazy. I think those two so far, you know, along with other people, you know, bicep tears and, you know, on deadlifts and hamstring tears on squats, and yeah, those are some crazy stuff that I've seen.
Yeah, he's back. Don't ever get comfortable in this chair. Don't ever get comfortable in this chair.
Is there anyone in the sport you actually like look up to or idolize or anything like that? Like anyone that you actually keep an eye on?
I like Susan Salazar is one of my favorite lifters. Her form is so technical. I mean, her squats are amazing. Her deadlifts are just impeccable. Like, it's the same setup, the same thing. She's like a machine. Like, every single time she's a machine. And she is so awesome, so lovely. You know, like, she's an amazing person. I also look up to Peggy Box. She's in her 60s, and she's like one of my, you know, best friends, you know, and she's over here still breaking world records at 60. You know, she was, I think, back in 83, when I know that's when I was born.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, you're Nikki Gunz 83, yeah. Like
yeah, when I was born, she broke a world record. I think she was in the 105 weight class, and she did reps, and I think she squatted over like 330 some pounds. And yeah, and I think she was like USPF at that time, that federation back in the day and stuff. And to this day, I mean, she's still at it. Like, the meet that I'm doing May 14th, she actually competes the May 13th in the same facility for the Masters Cup, for the IPL Masters Cup. So she's doing her push-pull, and she's still killing it. I mean, I think she's going to be in the 105 or 114 weight class, and she's already done like deadlifted 315 for, you know, a couple of triples and stuff, and she's already benched like 145, and, you know, at over, you know, 60 years old.
Yeah,
like
that's-
she's still going. I'm like, holy crap, man,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is awesome. You know, so
You're talking about the deadlift form being on point, and when we post yours, like your deadlift form looks like bang on, right? Except in your squats as well. Like your technique is very well put together. Like you don't have any breakdowns, right? So you probably do you stop before if you start feeling knees coming in? Because we never see in squats. It's like your knees never come in; they always track. You know, same with your deadlift. When you do pause, you know, you do pause deads, and there's actually I wanted to ask you about using pause work and how you incorporate that. But your pause deads, it's like pause and keep it moving with no breakdown in form. Does that help in terms of your form, in terms of deads, or?
yeah, I mean, with I like doing pause deads just because you are loading up your hamstring, you know, and you are stopping in the most hardest point of the lift, you know, right underneath that knee, your kneecap. That's the furthest, you know, part of the lift. That's the furthest it's away from you, so it's the hardest.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to work on those weaknesses. So if you're strong there, then you're strong enough to pull it back up. You know, so, and you're making sure you're loading up your hamstrings, you're keeping your core tight, so you need to utilize that belt. A lot of people just put the belt because it's going to protect my back. No, you need to use it. You know, you take your breath, you know, you're using all that pressure around the belt and stuff around, you know, that area, because that's where it's going to protect you, and you want to stay tight around your midsection, of course, and your lats need to be tight. And just like that, time under tension, you know, I think is what's going to help build that deadlift.
You know, it's funny you said about using the belt, like it is your weapon. I know a lot of people like, oh, I only throw on a belt if I get yay heavy, etc. But you can get a little heavier if you use it because you're going to put on a little more weight. Also, there are people who use belts for bench press, not because their spine is compressed, because the tension it can create.
Because you could push and get in tighter. Like when you're on a bench press and stuff, when you take your breath and you hear a lot of people say belly up, right? Yeah. So when you hear belly up, that means like your belly is tightened. So even though you don't even wear a belt, you know, you're still thinking that you do. So you're still putting that abdominal pressure, using that abdominal pressure, pushing out, so belly up and keeping it nice and tight, you know? Just like if somebody, your belly, your core is supposed to be tight in every single lift. And when I say tight, you kind of want to think of somebody punching you in the stomach, right? You brace your core. So you want to think of it also, you know, when you're benching. I used to wear a belt, but I end up taking my belt off because it does hit where my spine is, and it causes a lot of inflammation, you know, around my spine. So I was like, I can't do the belt anymore. So I'm just screw it. You know, I'm gonna do a belt lift, you know, on bench.
Whoa, crazy.
On bench, you know. But I know a lot of people do like raw everything, like raw wrist straps. I'm like, hell no. I was like, my wrists, you know, no, they're flimsy. I know they want to build up the wrists and stuff like that. But I mean, once you get that load on your hands, you want protection. And if the rule book says that you could wear wrist straps, well, doggone it, I'm gonna wear wrist straps. You know,
you can, exactly.
I was like, I mean, if it's allowed, I'm gonna wear it. You know. So.
Is your goal to end up at the IPL Worlds? Have you done the IPL Worlds yet?
Yeah, I've done it twice within the last 3 years. My first time, I took second. I was going against Marilia from Brazil. You know Marilia?
Yeah.
She's one of the judges now. I went up against her, and it was my first time ever going to Worlds, and probably like my third or fourth meet ever I've ever done. You know, so
holy smokes, no pressure.
Yeah, and my second time, I went with the team and stuff, and I ended up taking first place, but I didn't get any kind of like best lifter. Like I didn't win the whole thing, you know.
But it's the World Championships.
But it's the World Championship. I did win nationals once. I got best lifter at nationals 2 years ago. Okay. That's when I hit my first 402 squat. I got like a 192 bench and a 425 deadlift conventional at that time at nationals and stuff, and I ended up winning best lifter there at nationals.
So you are an IPL world champion?
I guess so. Like if I won first, well, it's because I don't know if it's like world champion as in like you won first in your weight class, or if you won the whole like best lifter, like off the
I would
wheels.
say you win a weight class. Let me tell you something. I win a world title in the weight class. Everybody's gonna know about it. I would lead that when I introduce you. I'd be like, let me just stay straight at the top. I'm a world champion, so let's get that out there. Hey, that's the low hanging fruit. Let's get that out the way. Yeah, you're a world champion. Nice.
Yes, I'm a world champion and I'm a national champion.
There you go.
In that case.
There you go. That's it. So what's your goals for the future? When are you going back to the world, do you think? This year, 2017, we're going to see you back there?
Probably not. I'll probably do nationals. Just because nationals is a lot more fun than worlds. There's a lot more people at nationals than it is at worlds.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that, because of travel type deal?
It's just different. Yeah, it's just different crowd. You know, so I like where the crowd's at, and I like the energy. And the energy at nationals is way better than worlds.
What?
And it's in the same location too. It's at the Golden Nugget, you know, in Las Vegas. Worlds and nationals is in the same place all the time. So.
And the nationals feel like it's bigger than the world.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding. Why do you think that is?
The times that I've been.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess because people plan their meets accordingly. You know, so if they do nationals, like me, like if I do nationals, the next meet I would like to do would be like LA Fit Expo. Yeah. And I've been invited to the LA Fit Expo like 3 freaking times, and something always ends up happening to me that I can't go, and I'm so pissed because I get invited every single year. And then same thing, I got invited to Boss of Bosses, you know.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and my back messed up. So I couldn't go, you know, so something always ends up happening. And the last time I didn't go to LA Fit Expo was because of my back again. So it's like I said, it's like I have back issues.
Are we gonna see you in Boss of Bosses in LA Fit Expo, you think? Is that one of your goals?
I would like to do LA Fit Expo. I would like to check that off my freaking list because it's been 3 years and that I've been wanting to go and I haven't been able to go. So yeah, so
what else is on your list? Some more records? What titles and records and what do you want to achieve?
Actually, I wanna try to get world record, my actual world record at nationals, just because I have an unofficial world record right now, which is an American record. So I have numbers that I want to hit and stuff. So if I could hit that squat and that total, you know, to be a world record. I mean, right now I just want to hit an 1,100 pound total. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm not far off. So that's a goal of mine, because right now I'm at 1,060 as my total at 132. So right now I'm ranked number 3 in the country out of all feds as my total.
That's the all time. Okay.
And my squat is ranked number 2 in the world.
Who's ahead of you?
Shit, I don't even know. Some chick from Kazakhstan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a 450 some squat. I'm like, dang.
And where'd that happen? Where'd that record? Did she break in Kazakhstan?
I think it was like an APF. I don't even know.
Was it in the U.S.?
Yes, I think it was in Florida.
Okay, because if she broke in Kazakhstan, man, I'd be like, man,
no,
we got to do that shit.
But you know, it was out of a monolift, which I don't think she walked that out.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count, Nikki. You're number 1 then.
That's the hardest thing to do.
That's
the hardest thing for squat is to walk it out.
I like to combine my events, my yoke and then the squat, right? And that's what walking it out is a little mini yoke, 2-step yoke from the strongman, for all my strongman fans out there, right?
Oh my gosh, what drives me crazy is people that when they walk their squat out, they take like a gazillion steps back. Like they
Too
take
far
like
back, more than you need.
Yeah, they go so far back from the. I'm like,
it's like, dude, are you trying to get more points? Is there an event I'm not informed of? What are you doing, man?
Yeah. No, just take 2 steps, 3 minimum, you know, steps back, just to clear the rack. You know, it's like, why do you want to make life harder on yourself and walking like all the way back or taking 5 steps back? I mean,
Yeah.
That's
Don't do it.
What you were saying, though, that's one of the things I do disagree with. Is some of these records getting broken is that it should actually classify monolift or not, because the fact they got to walk them out.
That's big.
You're seeing records getting broken right now in raps and stuff like that, and they're in a monolift.
That's the thing, okay? If you gotta walk it out, finding your footing is a whole lot harder than let me find all my shit, get set up, and then just magically.
Well, especially
sit down.
some of these big boys hitting 1,000 pounds. You know, like you see them walk it out.
When Ray Williams walks with 1,000 pounds on his back, man, that's got to
If he could do it, anybody could do it, right?
That's
He can
right.
walk it out. Everybody else could walk it out too. And I know it gets dangerous. You know, it is dangerous to walk that amount of weight out of the of the rack. I mean,
let's be
I guess
honest.
a lot of people. I mean, they want to squat big, you know, they want to see big squats. I mean, of course they're going to do it out of a monolift.
That's half of it.
Safe.
That's half of it, though, too, is like, you know when you watch like a boxing match, UFC fight, when the two fighters get face-to-face, nose-to-nose, and it builds the tension, when you watch, like, the big boys or any kind of big weight get moved, and somebody walks it out, it's like a bit of a preview, like, oh shit, he stumbled. Like, if you're shaky, it is a, oh shit, and it builds the tension, and if he nails it, you're like, oh, or if he walks it out solid, you have those experts being like, oh, he's gonna smoke this. It helps, man,
Well,
it builds.
But it's part of it. You have to walk it out. You have to set up again. You got to get your feet
Yeah,
set.
yeah.
You got to get everything right. And I think it takes away a lot from the guys who can set up perfect.
Yeah,
Into the monolift.
Well,
lift
why you wanna make sure that you do everything that you're gonna do at a meet, you do in training.
Yeah.
That your setup is supposed to be exactly the same every single time, from your breathing, from your walkout. So it could be muscle memory. So when you do get on the platform, it doesn't change. You know, it's the same thing every single time.
And
you yourself have to be a machine.
Yeah.
Everything has to be the exact same thing. It's like when you go up on the platform, I mean, and that's why I say you want to take your time. You want to make sure that, that everything is going to par and you don't stumble, and you're not messing with your feet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be the same thing every single time, So
that's also like what I kind of tell people is when they get nervous, right? And they're, in terms of your training, look, gravity's gravity, man. That, whatever you're feeling in the gym, you're going to feel there. Relax. It's not going to be, you're going to get on a platform all of a sudden, holy shit, this is entirely different. Gravity's gravity everywhere, man. 300 pounds, 400 pounds is the same wherever you're at. So it's a good mental cue. So something we like to ask all of our guests, how would you like to be remembered in terms of powerlifting when all is said and done and you look back and people talk about Nikki Gunz? See how I said that? Nikki Gunz.
Nikki Gunz.
I love that shit.
I don't know. I mean, I want to be remembered as being very, respected. Not too crazy of a person, like, very like intense in my own way, I guess. And just being super strong,
Yeah.
Just being, strong and normal and, not too crazy, I guess. I don't know.
Are you going to be into, you're going to get into coaching and mentoring and whatnot? Like, you're already in coaching, but is that kind of, do you see yourself segueing in that more and more? Or are you going to be like you're one of your idols who's going to be competing until you got one foot in the grave?
Yes. So yeah. I mean, I'm gonna compete until I can't no more, basically.
Yeah.
But I do like coaching. I do have some athletes that I coach and stuff. I don't do any online coaching. To me, I need to actually see the person and see their actual technique face to face. I have a girl that she comes from Houston and she comes to visit me just to get some technique work in and stuff like that, just so I could see her form and, critique her and stuff. But I can't do the whole online coaching stuff.
No shit.
Now, I
Not
just
even
can't.
programming? Would you offer programs?
different angles and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I need to see, video could be very deceiving, so I like to be up close and personal and see what they need, see if they're breathing properly, seeing if if their hand placement is in the right position, their foot placement, whether they should be a conventional or sumo puller some stuff like that. I need to see what actually works for them and with them. And then a lot of people don't have the specialty bars, and then they don't have the bands, and they don't have the chains and stuff. They're working out of Gold's, or Planet Fitness, where there's nothing like that when they need to get out of there and go to a real gym. Like it's like I can't do any kind of like online coaching just because of that.
It's
like,
refreshing to hear you say that, because honestly, that's what everybody's doing right now. You do two competitions, you'll be like, yo, accepting clients, ready to sign up, and they're just going to give you like a cookie cutter program, and God knows you could probably get a shitload of people online with what you're pushing.
Well, I kind of want to start, like, I'm going to start working on my website and stuff, and I am going to offer peaking programs, for peaking for, a meet and stuff. I'm going to offer off-season programs, hypertrophy programs, or just building size and muscle, but it's going to have a questionnaire of all the stuff that I need to know, because everything is going to be customized. It's not going to be a basic cookie cutter program for anybody. I need questions, because I need to know the person, if they could handle it or not, Of course, I need, I'll probably do programs for, the beginner, the intermediate, or the elite, and then customize it from there.
What's this website called? Just so people...
NikkiGunz.com.
That's it. Keep the branding.
That's it.
That's proper branding.
Do you have any sponsors or anyone you want to give a shout out to while you're on here right now?
My sponsor, Kinetics Body Science, she's helped me with my recovery. My sports massage therapist, that's my only sponsor I have right now. And she's just amazing.
Open to more sponsors too. Get on there, Nike.
Right?
That's right. Throw it out there. Okay, well, thanks a lot, Nikki. You were an amazing guest, and we'd love to have you back. And good luck in all your competitions.
Thank you. You too, because you have one coming up, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, water loading. I'm freaking feel like a sponge right now. It's all it's disgusting. Really. I don't even get into detail. But thanks a lot, and good luck, and we're gonna keep in contact and keep posting you.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
It was a good interview.
Good interview for sure, man. She's very informative. You know what, we touched up on her briefly, but I swear to God, man, in terms of her form, that was no bullshit. Smoking her, she doesn't break down. Her knees, like everybody, has something break down when they start nearing.
It's funny because it's not even just her three lifts, her accessories and everything. When you watch her, everything. When she does back rows, when she does anything, there's no breakdown in anything she does. And I think she's got
constantly a neutral spine.
But I think because of the fact she has that spinal injury, it keeps her in check of ego lifting.
Yeah,
right? She needs to constantly build strength around
and
not play with it, because it's something as simple as a bicep curl can throw that out again.
Very true.
So what may work against her may also work for her, and what a lot of people can do is check the ego and just stay training.
That's what a lot of people be like, why me? Why'd this happen? Man, take a step back. Sometimes it comes off as a con, and it could end up being a pro. Like her form, man. Her knees, she's moving in the 300s, the mid 300s for squat, and that shit never breaks down. Her first rep looks like her last rep. Even when she's grinding, and her deadlifts, when she pauses, that shit never. It's like she never paused. It just keeps moving right through.
She moves weight and she moves it well.
Yeah.
With the injury aside, that's kind
I was shocked she got it. She was injured.
Yeah, I didn't know either, and it's kind of a shame because she's someone to watch. You're constantly watching to see what she's going to do, and then to throw them injuries out like that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But she keeps coming back stronger, so.
And honestly, in terms of not going to USPA because she wouldn't be used to the reps. Like, man, I think if it was me, I might be like John Hack and be like, you know what? Let me try these reps on. Right? But it is. I know what she means. Where, look it. Yes, 40K, let's throw the wraps on. That doesn't mean that shit's going to move like someone who's used to the wraps.
Well, no, it doesn't always work. It doesn't always transition. Some people think, you can throw 100 pounds on your squat. It doesn't always transition.
People get more out of their gear than other people. And if she knows, she's like, look, man, that shit isn't going to work for me. I'll throw the wraps on. I'm wasting my time. Believe me, I know. I know me. Everybody would be like, oh, just try it. Like, man, you don't think if I knew I'm going to walk in there and take 40K, I wouldn't do it?
And it's what she said, too. she's Texas, I believe, heading to Cali. Like that's expensive, man. Like you making that trip, the hotel, doing all the stuff. Then you got to get into the training with the raps. Like you see what hacksmen have to do to get through all this to get into that.
You know, I'm glad that Hack's been posting a lot because initially when he had raps, man, he was saying like it's a struggle, man.
Well, he said
way different.
He said the squat is an RPE 7, the walkout is an RPE 12. It's brutal, because you're not used to it. But
because you got to walk that shit out almost straight legged. It feels like
it's good to be in the big show, but at the same time, if you're not going to win. I kind of understand. Like, if she thinks she's going to get blown out of the water, you also...
especially when you also being number one.
You also don't want to get demoralized. Like, there's a part of that where you want to be in that. Like,
in her world, with just the knee sleeves, she's number one, with especially the squat. That's her baby, she said. She's number one of all time. So, to all of a sudden throw on the knee wraps and be like, that'd be good to come in third. That's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. And Nikki's a competitor, man. Nobody's trying to come in third.
So one of the things I want to touch base on today is the Instagram site. So we're always looking for the best in the world, whatever fed, whatever country, whatever continent, whatever language you speak. So the thing is about it is what we need most of all from you guys is when you're posting is try to post your weights within it and post your body weights. So it gives people a better understanding of what you're doing, and we're trying to find everyone. So
we can't. That's the biggest thing.
We're constantly searching, and the thing is, we love that you guys are tagging us nonstop. But those big lifts, put them right into our DM because it's going to be the easiest way for us.
DM us because of the way the posts are coming nowadays. Thank God the following's getting bigger. You tag us, that shit's moved down our mini feed within seconds because we're posting constantly. And what you said about post your body weight. Only because, like, look, if you pull 600 and people are like, oh, 600, that's good, but this dude's $150.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can't tell when you look in the video. Like, it puts in perspective. There's a reason why there's weight classes.
Well, the other thing is, too, is a lot of people that don't always seem to update their profile. So when we go back to look to see, and you say you're a 93 competitor, but you're sitting at 120 now, like, I'm going to go on there and look. And I mean, we honestly, we get to know a lot of these people, and we get to see a lot of these people.
They're some of my best friends, I consider.
And we're interviewing a lot of these people, but when we go on there, we're just reading what you have written down. And we're trying to keep it as
Don't make us look bad.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it accurate.
Shit.
So... Thanks a lot. That's the end of this one, and
we're out.
We're out.